Hello, everyone. This is your girl, Everline, and today I'm going to talk about moving out of your parents' house. I'm going to discuss some tips that really helped me be successful whenever I moved out of my parents' house. So, grab all your college friends and anybody else that's moving out of the house and make them watch this video or go ahead and share the link with them. So, the first thing that I want to say whenever moving out of the house is do not rush to move out. I know a lot of people, when they graduate college or graduate high school, the first thing that they're thinking about is, I'm so sick of being in this house with my parents, I'm ready to be gone. And trust me, some of your parents are ready for you to be gone, but as a parent, you want to make sure you equip your child right before you send them out into the world. So don't just push them out, equip them before you send them into the world. But I would say do not rush is number one. Number two would be get advice from your parents. I know. But I can say one thing. The advice that I got from my parents before I moved out was some of the best advice ever. And that led to me being successful in moving out of my parents' house. That led me into staying out of my parents' house and not having to come back into my parents' house. It set me up the right way by sitting down, asking them for advice. They would always freely give it anyway, but seek your parents' advice. Say, hey, I'm thinking about moving out. Mom and Dad, what do you think? And hear what they have to say. You can also get good advice from them. They've been living this life for so long. So seek your parents' advice and sit, listen, take notes, write it down. Trust me, it will be good advice. The third thing is create a budget. Please create a budget. So you're gonna have on your budget sheet, if you type it up on a spreadsheet or if you write it down, have a budget. You have to include all of your income. So if you have a job, how much do you make after taxes? Don't even include before taxes because that don't even count right now. After taxes, how much are you bringing in, and any other side hustles and jobs, all that add in. And then consider how much you're gonna have to pay. I would go ahead and factor in electricity, trash. You would also have to make sure that if you stay somewhere that has gas, the gas bill, your insurance bill for your car insurance, your regular insurance. If you're off your parents' medical, does your job cover insurance or do you have to pay for your own medical insurance? All costs that you spend every month, factor that in on your budget sheet. And I made my budget sheet and I even included entertainment costs. Yes. So that included eating out with my friends, going to shows, hanging out, just so I can still be able to have fun. Because who wants to move out and then you can't enjoy yourself? You can't do nothing but stay at the house eating ramen noodles. So it's best to go ahead and budget all that in. And then once I looked at my budget and saw everything from groceries, everything, I determined then how much I can spend on my rent. See, a lot of people want to say, I want to move out, and then they go look at the nice apartments, the really nice apartments costing $3,000 and stuff. That's not in your budget. It wasn't in my budget. I didn't stay in the nice area because I couldn't afford those apartments. I ain't gonna lie, I did go look at them. But when I looked at them, I knew they were out of my budget already, but I just wanted to look. But I knew the apartments that were within my budget because I had already factored everything in. And not only did I factor in entertainment costs, I factored in savings, how much I was going to save each month. So I took that as a bill. Like this is how much I'm going to put away and save each month. So this is what I'm working with now. And so it's very important. And once you do that, I would show it to your parents. Because I remember when I showed it to my parents, there was some bill, I can't remember, that they were like, you're missing this on your bill sheet. And I was like, we got to pay. I think it was the trash bill. They were like, you got to pay for it. I was like, why? They just come pick up the trash. Like, and it was like, no, you got to pay that. And I was like, man, how much is this? Like, man. But you budget and you balance, and And it's worth it, trust me, to put it all on paper, have your parents look it over, or someone that you trust, that you can, get good advice from, look it over as well. So the fourth thing is, and this was very important, and this was something that my parents actually had me do. And at first I was like, I ain't doing all that. But I realized the benefit of doing this. Trust me, you get so much good advice from your parents, y'all, if you would just listen. But the fourth thing is rent a storage shed. I rented a storage shed. I just found one, and it was like $30-something a month. Rented a storage shed, and they said, we'll let you move out, but you would have to buy everything you needed for your apartment and pay it off. And everything that you need would have to be in this storage shed, because they said we ain't storing it in our garage. You put it in your storage shed, everything. So I made up a checklist of everything that I would need to move out. And I'm so glad I did this prior to moving out, because had I moved out and then still had to buy all this stuff, I would have been broke. I would have been in an apartment sitting on the floor because I couldn't afford a couch. So I bought my living room set, bedroom set. I bought like a little office desk because I know I wanted a 2-bedroom apartment. I knew what I wanted and I knew what I could afford. I bought everything all the way down from the pots, the pans, cleaning supplies, broom, mop, dishes, forks, knife, linens for your bed, table. I had a dining room table, a kitchen table, all that. Literally, I had everything in my storage shed, brand new, still with tags on it, and everything was paid off. I think the only thing I bought used was, I did buy the living room set used, and I bought the kitchen set used. So I had to pay those up front. But some of the other stuff, I was like, okay, well, I either saved up and then went and got it, or if it was like a TV or something, then I went ahead and got it, and just made payments on it until it was paid off. But it was such good advice, because when I moved out, I was like, oh, I had everything for my apartment. Because I know I would visit friends, and they would literally have a love seat in there, and like people would have to sit on the floor. And I'm like, they was like, hey, I had to move out. And I'm like, man, and it was such good advice. So I had all that. Oh, and then I forgot the best part. The fifth thing to do is make sure before you move out, along with having all the stuff that you would need for your storage shed and in your storage shed and paid off, make sure that you have your down payment. Go ahead and contact the place, see how much your down payment is, see how much your monthly rent would be, get all the costs it would be to move in. So not only did I had saved up my down payment, I had saved up my first month rent, I had saved up an additional $1,000 to have in my savings, because I didn't want to move out without having anything in my savings. So I saved up money for my savings, and on top of that, I also factored up the cost to also rent a U-Haul to move my stuff. I did all that because I didn't want to be hit with any additional costs and be like, oh, and not have the money, because I was very prideful back then, and I know I didn't want to ask my parents for no money, especially moving out, and I'm ready, and I'm telling them I can do this, and then I'm like, oh, can I ask for some? But I had factored all that in. So at the time I moved out, I was a freshman in college, and I was working a full-time job. So I had determined that I didn't want to go away to college. I wanted to work a full-time job and do college in the evening. So I would go to class in the evenings, and then I had some online classes as well. And eventually I just went straight online because that worked out better for me and my job. So I was able to pull off a lot of the stuff because I was able to go to class either online or in the evening, and then still work my full-time job. So I had a plan. And so I want to say this, parents, sit down with your kids, equip them before they leave your house, please. And kids, listen to your parents. Trust me, you want to go out into this world right. I know a lot of you guys probably were like me, prideful, like I don't need this, I don't need that. But I sat down, I listened, I wrote it down, I soaked it in. I actually applied what they told me, and that foundation has stuck to me even to this day. So if you're considering moving out of your parents' house, or starting on your own, I would recommend to really do all these steps. And sit down and have that talk with your parents. Even show your parents this video and be like, hey, could you help me out with some of the stuff that she said in the video? And I think that would go a long way. I'm praying for everyone who's moving out, making that first step, praying for wisdom, that you have the wisdom to know what to do when you're moving out. Even if you get a roommate, I'm telling you right now, be very careful if you get a roommate. Make sure that they're holding up their end of the bargain. Make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. Don't just get a roommate with anyone, because also factor in, what if your roommate moves out and doesn't pay their portion? Can you still come in and pay the whole rent until you can find another roommate or move somewhere? Or whenever the lease gets up, then you can move. So those are things that you should factor. But I hope you have enjoyed it. Share, leave any comments that you have for me. I'll be having more videos for you soon. Bye-bye.